The hidden costs of promiscuity, what women need to know. Look, we live in a time where women are told they can do anything, be anything, sleep with anyone. And while I'm all for empowerment, let's be real. There's a whole other side to this sexual liberation that no one wants to talk about. We're talking about the emotional baggage, the potential for regret, the real-life consequences that can follow. This isn't about judgment, and it's not about telling anyone what they can and can't do with their bodies. This is about giving you, the women watching this, the full picture, because you deserve to make informed choices about your life, your body, and your future. So let's cut through the noise and get real about the hidden costs of promiscuity. The emotional roller coaster of casual sex. We all know sex releases oxytocin, the cuddle hormone that makes you feel connected and bonded. Problem is, this natural high can be misleading, especially in casual encounters. You see, your brain doesn't necessarily know the difference between a one-night stand and a committed relationship, so you get this surge of oxytocin, you feel close, maybe even start thinking it's something more, and then bam! Reality hits. He's gone, you're left with this cocktail of hormones, and suddenly you're more attached than you ever intended to be. This emotional confusion can be really distressing, especially if it becomes a pattern. You start questioning your judgment, feeling used, wondering why you keep putting yourself in these situations. And it's not just about feeling used. Repeatedly seeking validation through casual sex can actually chip away at your self-esteem. You start associating intimacy with fleeting connections, making it harder to believe in or build something real. The truth is, casual sex isn't always so casual, especially for women. Our brains and bodies are wired for connection, and ignoring that can have some serious emotional consequences. The link between promiscuity and mental health. Now, I'm not saying casual sex directly causes depression and anxiety, but studies have shown a strong correlation between the two, particularly in women. And when you think about the emotional roller coaster we just talked about, it starts to make sense. Think about it, the more partners you have, the higher the chances of experiencing heartbreak, disappointment, and emotional confusion. Add to that the societal double standard, which we'll get to later, and it's a recipe for self-doubt and diminished self-worth. Women with higher partner counts often report feeling lonelier, more anxious in social situations, and less satisfied with their lives overall. They may struggle with commitment issues, fear of intimacy, or even engage in self-destructive behaviors to numb the pain. This isn't about shaming anyone. It's about recognizing that our mental and emotional well-being are deeply intertwined with our choices, including our sexual choices. Can promiscuity affect your ability to bond? Look, our brains are wired to seek out and form bonds with others. It's in our DNA. But just like any other muscle in your body, the bonding mechanisms in your brain can be overworked. Think of it like this. Every time you have sex, especially with someone new, your brain releases those bonding hormones. But if you're constantly flooding your system with these chemicals, they can lose their effectiveness over time. It's like developing a tolerance. You need more and more to get the same effect. This can make it incredibly difficult to form secure, lasting attachments later on. You might find yourself jumping from one relationship to another, never feeling truly satisfied, never feeling that deep, meaningful connection you crave. This isn't to say that women with extensive sexual histories can't have fulfilling relationships, but it does mean they might have to work harder, be more intentional, and be prepared to address any emotional baggage that might be holding them back. Chapter 4. The unplanned pregnancy factor. Let's state the obvious. The more sexual partners you have, the higher your risk of an unplanned pregnancy. And while some might argue that birth control mitigates this risk, let's be real, no method is foolproof. Accidents happen, and those accidents can have life-altering consequences. We're talking emotional turmoil, difficult decisions, potential financial strain, and the weight of responsibility that comes with bringing a child into the world. And let's not forget about the potential complications of abortion, both physically and emotionally. Now, I'm not here to debate the pro-life or pro-choice issue. My point is that unplanned pregnancies can be incredibly stressful regardless of your stance on abortion, and the more partners you have, the higher the likelihood of facing this situation. Chapter 5. The STD Reality Check. Let's talk about STDs, folks. This isn't about fear-mongering, it's about facing facts. The more sexual partners you have, the higher your risk of contracting a sexually transmitted disease. It's simple math. And before you say, "But Dr. Phil, I only sleep with people who get tested," let me stop you right there. Not all STDs show symptoms right away, meaning you could be infected without even knowing it. And some STDs, like HPV, are so common that even the most careful person can contract them. We're talking about serious health consequences here, folks. We're talking infertility, cervical cancer, chronic pain, and a lifetime of managing a virus. And let's not forget the emotional toll of an STD diagnosis. The shame, the fear, the potential for rejection. Protecting your sexual health is crucial, and that means being honest with yourself about the risks involved with having multiple partners. Chapter 6. Reputation in the Age of Sexual Liberation. Let's talk about the elephant in the room, the double standard. Society might preach sexual liberation for all, but the reality is women are often judged more harshly than men for their sexual choices. It's a raw deal, but it's the world we live in. A man with multiple partners might be labeled a player, but a woman, she's often branded with much harsher terms. These labels can stick, impacting how others perceive her, treat her, and even how she sees herself. This isn't about conforming to outdated societal norms. It's about recognizing that your reputation matters. It affects your personal relationships, your professional life, and even your romantic prospects. The truth is, judging someone based on their sexual history is wrong, but pretending it doesn't happen is naive. We need to acknowledge this double standard and empower women to make informed choices, knowing the potential social consequences they might face. Chapter 7. Now, I'm not saying you need a low number to have a happy marriage, but studies have shown a correlation between fewer premarital partners and higher marital satisfaction. And it makes sense, right? The more experience you have with different partners, the more opportunity for comparison, for wondering what if, for carrying baggage from past relationships into your marriage. It's not just about the number, though. It's about the emotional maturity and self-awareness that often come with having fewer partners. When you've taken the time to understand yourself, your needs, and your boundaries, you're more likely to choose a partner who aligns with your values and who can meet your needs in a meaningful way. This isn't about judging anyone's past. It's about recognizing that our past experiences shape our present and future relationships. And if your goal is a healthy, fulfilling marriage, it's worth considering how your past sexual choices might impact that goal. Chapter 8. The Madonna whore complex, a harsh reality. Let's be brutally honest here. The Madonna whore complex is alive and well. It's this archaic idea that men categorize women into two categories, the pure, innocent Madonnas and the sexually liberated, experienced whores. It's a false dichotomy, of course, but it's a lens through which many men still view women. And here's the kicker. Once you're placed in a category, it can be incredibly difficult to break free from that perception. A woman who's been labeled as easy might find it challenging to be seen as relationship material, even if she's ready to settle down. This isn't about shaming women for their sexuality. It's about exposing this harmful double standard and encouraging men to view women as complex individuals with their own desires, boundaries, and experiences. We need to dismantle this archaic way of thinking and create a society where women are respected for their whole selves, not just their perceived sexual availability. Chapter 9. The danger of seeking validation through sex. Listen, there's nothing wrong with enjoying sex and feeling desired. But when your self-worth becomes solely dependent on sexual validation, you're walking a dangerous path. It's like building your house on a foundation of sand. It's unstable, unreliable, and bound to crumble. The problem is, the more you seek validation through sex, the more you reinforce the belief that your worth is tied to your sexual desirability. It becomes a vicious cycle, a never-ending quest for external approval that leaves you feeling empty and unfulfilled. This can lead to a neglect of your personal growth, your passions, your goals. You might find yourself making choices based on what will get you attention from men, rather than what truly aligns with your values and aspirations. Remember, true self-worth comes from within. It's about recognizing your inherent value as a human being, regardless of your relationship status or sexual experience. Chapter 10. Sexual addiction. When enough is never enough. Now, I'm not talking about enjoying sex. I'm talking about a compulsive need for sexual activity that becomes all-consuming, controlling your thoughts, emotions, and behaviors. It's like any other addiction. It's about seeking that dopamine hit, that temporary feeling of pleasure and escape, even if it comes at a cost. And let's be clear, sexual addiction is a real thing. It can manifest as an obsession with pornography, multiple partners, compulsive masturbation, or even risky sexual behaviors. And it can have devastating consequences on your relationships, your mental health, and your overall well-being. The thing about addiction is it's often a symptom of a deeper issue: unresolved trauma, low self-esteem, a lack of fulfillment in other areas of life. And until you address the root cause, the cycle of addiction will continue. If you're struggling with compulsive sexual behaviors, know that you're not alone. There is help available and recovery is possible. Don't be afraid to reach out for support. Making informed choices for a fulfilling life. Look, I'm not here to tell anyone what to do with their bodies. You have the right to make your own choices, but you deserve to make those choices with your eyes wide open. Real empowerment comes from knowledge, from understanding the potential consequences of your actions, and from making choices that align with your values and goals. This isn't about shaming anyone for their past. It's about having honest conversations about the complexities of sex and relationships. It's about empowering women to make choices that lead to true happiness, fulfillment, and lasting love. Remember, you are worthy of respect, regardless of your sexual history. You are capable of creating a life you love, a life filled with meaningful connections, and a life that reflects your values and aspirations.